Good morning, everyone. We're back here at 7:07 a.m. on KFYO Mornings with Dave King and Matt Martin, and Randy Christian joins us. Good morning, Randy.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are y'all?
Well, you know, we're probably better than we deserve.
Little water between your toes this morning?
No, I'm all dry.
You're all dried off? Okay.
All
good.
dry.
Good. It is definitely,
So-
it is kind of deceiving out there. It's a heavy mist, and from your car, if you got at least a moderate walk outside to your car, get your rain gear on.
Yeah, get your umbrella.
You'll be soaked.
You know, there's not many umbrellas in Lubbock. We just don't need them that often. For one thing, it never rains, almost. And when it does, it's usually light rain, and, you know, umbrella is more trouble than it's worth.
Well, we get excited over rain. We go out and dance in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
We celebrate it.
It's like, funny story, my son-in-law was from Buffalo, New York. He was here one Christmas, and this has just been a few years ago, and you might remember we had a little 2 or 3 inch snow, as I recall, maybe 4 inches.
I think it was Christmas Day.
Yeah, I think you're right. And my son-in-law comes to me that morning, the snow's on the ground, he says, where's your snow shovel? And I'll go shovel your sidewalk. And I said, what?
Yeah.
Well, where's your snow shovel? I said, I don't have a snow shovel. I said, in fact, there's probably not a snow shovel in Lubbock County.
Yeah, you handing the snow spoon?
So, have you, what are you thinking? You running for city council like you're a glutton for punishment or what?
Yeah, I'm curious how he said that question.
I know. What were you thinking?
What were you thinking?
Yeah, what were you thinking?
Were you
What's the matter
thinking
with you?
that we had a snow shovel in the garage, Randy? What is going on?
So you're going to run for Karen Gibson's seat because
number 5.
Karen is. And by the way, roughly where is 5?
Basically, it's Quaker West. It's Southwest Lubbock.
Okay.
It goes up a little north and meanders here and there, but in a big picture scheme, it's Southwest Lubbock.
Okay.
It goes south to where the city limits is now, to about 147th, 48th, something like that.
Okay. So you're going to run for Karen's seat because she's running for judge.
That's what I hear.
So right now you have it all to yourself.
Yeah, I guess so.
So
we'll have the election tomorrow.
yeah, if the election was tomorrow,
yeah,
you'd
if the
be the
election
man.
was tomorrow, it would be all.
So we're talking about the May election.
The election is not till May, but I wanted to get out early, let people know that I am a candidate, because as you guys would probably agree, that Lubbock's social calendar is basically in the fall. Yep. And so whenever you're at a football game, whether it's YFL or Texas Tech, I wanted people to know that I'm a candidate, and there's just lots of different things that happen this year. So I wanted to make sure that I had that bullseye on my back. So if wherever I go, somebody that I encourage people. I want people to come up and say, hello, hi, I'm so-and-so, and just meet and greet and talk. And as I told in my speech, I hate to use the word speech, when I announced a week ago Tuesday that between now and the first of the year, it's going to be Randy's Listening and Learning Tour.
Yep.
I'm not going to make any declarations of how I'm going to vote on X or Y or Z. I really do want to listen to the citizens of District 5 as well as across the city of what's on there, what's important to them, what's bothering them, what's good, what's bad, what's indifferent. But I want that's what I plan to do between now and the first of the year.
Well, Randy, you must have some idea of maybe something that you want to accomplish specifically.
Well, I don't want to cheat on Chad Hasty, but I told him the one reason I decided to run so I could come and talk, I would have to come and talk to Chad Hasty, and then he liked that a lot.
Wait, have you been on Chad Hasty's show?
Yes, yeah, I was on.
Why are you inviting secondhand guests? That's all I want.
I don't know. Well, if I had known that.
Well, too bad. It's too late. One of the things that I did, and it's kind of paradoxical that we're dodging raindrops for the last week, but I still think that one of the more important things that we need to do as a city and a region is we can't take our eye off the water ball, if you will. We've gotten here, Lake Allen Henry is almost at 100% capacity, but we know but in the future, we're going to have some days where we're going to have no rain for a long time. I understand that the city council now, they're working on, or at least has passed some some resolutions where people that use less water, they're going to be rewarded for it. So regardless of what your politics are, I don't think you can argue with the fact that we really always need to not assume that we're going to have rain like this every fall and we're going to have a full Allen Henry and we're going to have plenty of water.
Well, we just had a dose of that. We've just been through a drought, and we know that. But, Randy, I have heard the water plan, and Lubbock has a good, solid water plan.
Oh, most definitely. But
the next project, and I think it was 20 years, the next project is to dam up the Canyon Lakes.
That I haven't heard about. But, we are very fortunate and blessed to have had some city fathers that were forward-thinking to acquire water rights in a couple of counties. We have Allen Henry. We have I've heard it's basically 100 years of water. And there is no city in West Texas that even comes close to that. And when you think about being able to go out and do some economic development and talk to some people that said we've got a water supply for 100 years, that's a pretty good gold star when you're talking to businesses to possibly relocate or businesses to continue to grow in Lubbock.
Well, and you're absolutely right. If you live here in the desert of Lubbock, it's water, water, and water. That's the number 1, 2, and 3 things that are most important to us.
Randy, go on. But the second thing, to me, is what I've learned, and I've been doing my due diligence. I've talked to a lot of people. I've talked to the new city manager. I've talked to a contingency of folks, young men from the police association. I've talked to the fire guys. I've already got my stack of this year's budget. It's not my budget, but I do have of this year's budget. I'm looking into it, and and then I've talked to a few home builders, and especially in District 5 is how do you finance the growth? No. How do we continue to finance the infrastructure, whether it's existing that needs to be replaced or that infrastructure that's growing towards the 148th Street, all the housing developments that's going on. So that's very important, and particularly in District 5.
Well, I do want to ask you. You've been in Lubbock for 40 years. I've been here 49 years, and I do never remember a time when we in Lubbock had so much construction underway. I mean, you can drive out in South Lubbock, and there are cranes everywhere dotting the skyline. They're putting up hotels, apartments, malls. It's crazy growth.
Well,
it's an exciting time.
Oh, it is a very exciting time, and that's what I talked about when I announced at City Hall. Is Lubbock, Texas, whether you like it or not, we're going to grow. The genie is out of the bottle. Whenever I had my ad agency, I got in one of my clients with the Board of City Development. I remember consultants coming in and talking to us and said, when Lubbock, Texas hits 200,000. Everything's going to change.
Explodes. Huh?
Everything's going to change, and it has. But there's in my opinion, there's 2 primary reasons, and there's more, of course, but 2 primary reasons we're going to grow. One, we're in Texas. I think we're going to get our percentage of growth because we're in the great state of Texas.
I think we're going to get more than our percentage.
Well, probably so, but being in Texas, it's a big plus.
You're exactly right.
If we were in Lubbock, New Mexico, I think we might not be where we are today.
I think you're right, and everybody wants.
But second,
they want to move to Texas.
But secondly, Texas Tech. I think those those are big drivers. We're now 37,000. I think is what the student population was. It broke a record. I think that it's very possible that we will be very close to 40,000 in the not too distant future. So my point is,
I think it was they were shooting for 40 in 2020, weren't they?
Probably something like that, but that's not that far away. I mean, that's a couple of years away. But my point is, we have to have a blinding glimpse of the obvious of citizens and leaders of this community that we're going to grow. How do we manage that growth in a smart and effective way?
Randy, hold it right there. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back. News Talk, 95.1 FM and 790 AM. We are KFYO Mornings with Dave King and Matt Martin. Broadcasting live from the Culligan Water Studio. Better water, pure and simple. 7:23 a.m. Our guest this morning is Randy Christian, who is running for Karen Gibson's District 5 City Council seat in Lubbock. Yeah. Did I get all that right?
Pretty doggone close.
Pretty doggone
we'll give
close.
you an A minus.
I'm a professional. Here,
Well,
Randy.
you are.
know,
I've heard that.
So-
in my own mind.
We've been talking in the break about economic development and how Lubbock's just exploding here in Lubbock. So I do have a question about downtown economic development. How much role do you believe that Lubbock as a city needs to have in propping up downtown and developing that?
It's a support. I think we need to support it. I still think it needs to be primarily private investors. That's the way it works in the world. But I do think that we need to understand that as we grow, I'm a big believer that every great city has a great heart. And the great heart of every city is its downtown. In my opinion, it's one of those things that if it's done right, it can help unify the city from the north, south, east, and west. Can be a gathering place for all of our community. I think we need, as a city, we need to support it. We need to be behind those developments that are going on. We need to be able to understand that of providing the infrastructure. For those things down there is certainly a part of what the city should do. But yeah, mostly it should be a private. I believe it's private investment.
Yeah. Well, the city, the downtown area is certainly something that's on my radar. We can't afford just to let it crumble into nothing.
Well, and I do think that there's some things that are going on right now, especially Buddy Holly Center. I think that's going to be a big anchoring and a support mechanism. The other thing that I think that's helped our downtown as much as anything is the Marcia Sharp Freeway.
Oh,
because,
absolutely.
Well, Dave, you can remember when before the Marcia Sharp and you lived out in this part of town and you were going to be going to something that was either a meeting or an entertainment event. You almost had to pack a lunch to go from your house out here in Southwest Lubbock. But you jump on the Marcia Sharp and you're downtown in a heartbeat.
Yes, that's right. That's exactly
so
right.
It makes
and I-27 is
absolutely.
completion.
So the access to downtown is much, much better, which I don't think that we would be probably talking as vigorously about downtown development if we didn't have that easier access because of Marcia Sharp.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Well, so what do you see? Do you have one thing that you see as the biggest problem for Lubbock? Oh, you'd mentioned water.
Well, I think that, and then the second one I thought is continually to support and maintain the infrastructure, whether it's existing infrastructure that needs to be replaced or new infrastructure because of the growth that's going on all across our city, but specifically 5. The other thing that's going to be coming up is public safety, or a police issue. Now, I have a gut feeling that particular issue, as it regards to community policing and a new downtown headquarters, that may be resolved and would not be on my plate if I was fortunate enough to be elected in May. But I am a big supporter of community policing efforts. I had, as I said earlier, a nice conversation with a contingency of young men that are part of the executive committee of the local police association. They're for it. They understand the pluses of it. I think it makes sense that especially in Southwest, we all know how long it takes to drive, as we were talking a minute ago about how long it can take to drive to downtown if they make an arrest here. Some of those stations I think there's 3 on the 3 on the plan right now to do, and maybe a 4th in the future. Excuse me. But I think the other, I would say probably 100% certain that we'll have the substations around town. Where a new downtown headquarters will be for the police, I still think that that's in the discussion stages. But said again, my gut feel is because of this council, I think that may be off the table. If I was elected in May, but I'm supportive of what's going to happen in that as regards to public safety.
Okay, Randy, we got to run. Got a hard break coming up.
A hard one.
A hard break.
Okay.
We cannot get out of. If we keep talking, they'll just break and.
Well, I'll just keep talking. Y'all just cut me off.
You can if you like. Oh, I'm glad to have you out here, and good luck in your quest for District 5 Lubbock City Council person.
Well, I'll be glad to come back anytime.
Love to have you.
Thanks.